everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Today I want to chat with you guys and gals a little bit about the idea that functional strength has been a long-standing gimmick. It really is kind of meaningless. And I'm not saying some strength is not more functional than others. What I'm saying is people completely misapply this idea, as if, if we do these other little minor balancing movements and we go to really low force productions and low loads, that it is somehow better. In other words, doing some stability stuff on one leg or a Bosu ball or whatever is functional strength. And it's like, that's not how it works. Sorry, but if you're going to talk pure athletic power and strength, stuff like a barbell back squat has a one heck of a long history of producing Olympic level sprinters, helping NFL players get $10 million contracts. So again, you start thinking of these extreme high rate of force production performance, right? These things work, back squats, box squats, deadlifts, pulls of different types. All these big movements, they give you the most functional strength for athleticism, right? You're not getting there by hopping around on one leg, and I'm sorry, you're not. Okay? Am I saying some balance and stability training can't have its place? Of course it can. Can some agility training have its place for certain sports? Sure. But when we start talking real world strength, it's the application of big, heavy loads or high rate of force production movements. Someone who can clean 300 pounds off the floor and clean it up to their shoulders has an insane amount of functional strength. I don't think we can deny that. If you can back squat 500 pounds, and again, we talk about the ability to apply that strength in the real world. But again, what do we mean by the real world? Are you talking on a pro football field? Are you talking about in a professional MMA match? Because all that stuff carries over to that. Are you talking about winning a sprinting event? Because plenty of Olympic level sprinters can squat 500 pounds. It's not uncommon. But is that really functional for most people? Probably not. But realistically, yeah. Big loads to where your whole body gets used matter. But here's the other thing. How do we build those big loads? In other words, the lifters who do this stuff without getting hurt, like for example, guys, I'm 48 years old. I am 48 years old. You're about to watch me do that. That's a 505 squat on a 12-inch box. That is harder than doing a normal back squat. Again, good coaches will tell you that. You should watch me do a pretty easy 585 deadlift. I'm doing triples with 315 bench. I do weighted pull-ups, weighted chins with a 45 plate, and I'm over 200 pounds. I move some respectable loads. But here's the thing. How do people build these exercises? And in other words, let's come over and discuss why this idea of then functional strength of, an isolation movement's not functional. How is it not functional? How do you think the best lifters build these movements? And I'm not talking about the high specificity power lifters who end up breaking and are completely out of the game by age 35. I'm talking about the people who stay put together. Well, how do you think we build these exercises? Do you think we don't use machines? Because let's be realistic. If you can squat 500 pounds on your back to depth, you have 100 times more functional strength. That is hyperbole, an exaggeration. Disclaimer, 100 times more functional strength than anyone who's hopping around on a Bosu ball, or flinging around a 20-pound kettlebell. Do you really think when it comes to push come to shove, the ability to just tackle someone or take a hit or to grab something, you really think that 500 squat and a 600 deadlift? Does anyone out there, I want people to really ask that question. Do you think a person who can do that can't produce absurd amounts of force in a struggle or a conflict or grabbing something or pulling something? Oh, they got real world strength. Way above the top 1% of the population. Above the top 1% of the gym going population. Okay? That's the top 1% of people who work out 5 days a week or 4 days a week. Okay? That is a huge amount of force production. And I'm not saying it just because I can do it. I'm an old man doing it. So But here's the thing, how do you think we build that? Does anyone out here really think that my ability to do that at my age means I do nothing but big movements? No, I do tons of high rep stuff, like right there. That's a 12 rep sets of good mornings with a much lighter weight. Do you think that carries over to my deadlift? You don't think reverse hyperextension machines? You don't think my benching and pressing has anything to do with my high rep tricep extensions or band work for my triceps? Okay? You don't think some of these other smaller dumbbell movements have helped build my back strength that you're seeing demonstrated in some of this stuff? Okay? You don't think that's a factor? You don't think doing curls carries over to those chins, and you don't think the chin-up strength carries over to all that pulling strength? See where we're going with this? So where does it become functional? Because then we have to say, look, if building a 500-pound back squat produces enormous functional strength, then every good coach will tell you that is absolutely a fact. It is way more effective than all this goofball stuff people are selling as functional strength by any metric you can measure. You go take someone who's been doing any of these functional strength classes is the only thing they do for 5 years straight. You compare them to someone who can back squat 500 pounds. You go test any of their force production and strength. It's not even going to be close. But how do we build those sort of big lifts? We do them by building the smaller muscles up too. You get to those big numbers safely, especially as you get older, by isolating your weak links, isolating different support muscles. Okay? Maybe build your hamstrings so you can do a squat off of a box like that. Because if you have weak hamstrings and you're a 500-pound box squatter or back squatter, you try to do 450 on that box with weak hamstrings, you're going to fail. Okay? See where we're going with this? You don't think cables and dumbbells and machines are functional, but if they help you build those big lifts, they sure as hell are functional. Functional strength means that you've built every muscle in your body, and then you have the ability to coordinate it and use them together. Like, that is truly functional strength. Okay? And we know this in strength and conditioning sports. We know this from what produces the best athletes. Better look at what they're doing. And then come and tell me what's functional. Okay? They're not getting there with this functional strength training. They're doing big heavy squats and deadlifts and cleans and pulls and presses with big barbells, big weights, oftentimes bands, chains, and then coming in and building smaller muscles around it. Right? That's how we get strong. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.